Digit is here. His Grace Laurel Deach is here. His Eminence. Larry, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. We got Bobby, Pat Kincaid, Pat Sullivan, Ray Roldan, Kay Schweitzer, Maureen Sullivan, Chris Lee and her kids, Gail and Tom, Danny Sorkin, Hal and Linda, and Barbara Young. All right. Now, I don't, that's some of you have faces and some of you don't. So let's go ahead and start with the and Maria Teresa's here and Cindy Deach is here too. There's Maria. Okay. And Cindy was over there earlier. All right. Today we want to welcome Larry, Larry, it's been too long. It's always good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Always, 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 always. Ray going to be reading today, and hopefully Bobby next time we're gathering, I have to get with Bobby. Michelle will be on at the end of the month, the 22nd. Digit is doing tech. By the way, speaking of tech, and so you all know, as I'm just finding out, Zoom is updated, and you have to do a couple of different things. So I'll remember that. Show self view and hide show participants. Okay, I didn't realize that. That's all new. Okay, staff updates, everybody. Some staff updates.
Oh, Ken?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, when you talk about staff, I am sporting my new spiffy stole that this really nice man sent me anonymously. And it makes me feel like part of the team and the staff. And thank you, Ken.
Michelle has one, Larry has one, and I have one. Yes, and that when Andrea gets ordained, she'll get one too. All right, everybody, let's go. So staff updates. Our seminarian is 58 and has multiple disabilities, and unfortunately, one kicked in and it acted as a domino effect, and he had multiple serious problems. And the doctor gave him the word that what you're doing now, you can no longer do. So he had to drop out of the MDiv program and had to drop out of working with us as a seminarian. He's going to try and finish a master's degree, which he can do literally on his back, but he's got severe problems. And I told him we will continue to love him and hold him close in anything he needs from us as a congregation to offer support he's got. But this came as a surprise, and he said to me, honestly, Kenneth, I think I was in denial. I just thought I could do a lot of stuff, and my body was saying it can't. That's the update on Naki. Besa has run into some problems too, some serious problems, and so she will not be with us on staff. We're going to move her over to being a community minister where she has no staff responsibilities. So that means we've got Larry, Andrea, Michelle, and myself. And Larry's in good shape. Michelle's in good shape. Andrew's in good shape. And I promised you all I would give you a report on my health. I went to both the transplant team, which is a brand new team and brilliant. I was dumbfounded. And then I met with my cardiologist, and I've got some bad news for you. It looks like I'm going to be around to annoy you for a long while. They said that your health is extraordinary. My eye doctor said you should be blind in your right eye and you're seeing quite well. We don't know how or why. Just come in once a month and we'll do what we need to do. So it looks like my ability to annoy you for a while longer looks good, just so you know that. So we've got Michelle, Andrea, Larry, and I as the team for right now. And we're putting together some staff responsibilities. So that's a good, solid team. Personally, in all the years that I've been in the ministry, which is too many, I have never seen a team get along the way Larry, Michelle, and Andrea and I get along. I've never seen that. The genuine affection and caring for one another, the genuine respect is just unseen. It's just, so I want to share that with you from a personal point of view. Book club continues. Book club continues. Rick Homer suggested, since Connections is going to start meeting weekly for the holidays, we should meet 2 days after the election. So However that's going to turn out, I will keep my mouth this closed at this point and simply say that we will start Connections Weekly on the 7th and go through the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. We'll meet weekly, and we will have much time to share all kinds of things. For those of you into tech, if you have Comcast or Xfinity, you need to know your modem may be outdated. I have a very fancy modem, and it is now too slow, much to my shock. So if you have Xfinity or Comcast, be sure you check your modem. It may not be giving you the speeds that you are paying for what it is worth. And finally, we never mentioned this, but if you could remember to give, we deeply appreciate it. Remember, we have a total voluntary giving. So, oh yeah, also change the passwords on those by default. Okay, so remember that. But those of you who give, if you'd be kind enough to remember this, we rely totally on your giving. We have no endowment. We have no wealthy person we can turn to when things go bad. So if you can in any way, please remember to keep us in your thoughts, prayers, and in your pocketbook, if you can, from time to time. Having said all of that, again, welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome. Let's see, we've got Felix from up North Miami City. Cindy and Larry are from Port Orange. Bobby Vance is from Kissimmee. Nikki Lindquist is from Cutler Bay, which used to be 10,000. Now it's 50,000+. Pat Kincaid is in Miami. Pat Sullivan is in Forest Hills. Ray Rowland is in Washington Heights. Kay Schweitzer is in Central Florida. Maureen Sullivan is down near farm country. Chris Lee is in Taiwan. Gail and Tom are in Port Orange. Barbara Young is in South Miami. Hal and Linda are Port Orange. Alan and Edwin are here, and you need to start screaming at Alan. He and Eddie moved a piece of furniture that takes a whole team to move, so get after them. Danny Sorkin is also from Forest Hills. Good morning to you all. Let us begin by lighting our memorial candle. And there are so many bad things that happened this week, I don't know where to begin. Georgia, 14-year-old. I don't know if you've ever taken a look at Africa and seen the size of the Belgian Congo, where the Democratic Republic of Congo now has four major wars going on, and the death toll over the last 12 years is about 11 million. And everybody doesn't know that. The West Bank had problems again. The Jordanian border had problems. And we're in the election season. So all of these are causing stress. So I light a candle for all of the innocent people everywhere who are minding their own business, and things happen. And so let's keep an open mind for the entire people everywhere on this planet. Keep them close, and especially those who, through no fault of their own, have become victims. We keep them in our hearts. Our opening music this morning is To Live by the One Children's Choir. Our call to worship this morning is by Michelle Obama, and it is one sentence, and I'll invite you to say and read that with me. Are we ready? When you are struggling and start thinking about giving up, remember the power of hope. And if those of you who would, if you would read the morning prayer with me, the church is not a place, it is a people. May it be a person greeting a person greeting a person, all ages and genders and abilities connecting, a community forged in trust, faith, and love. May it be an experience of our hearts, prying open the doors of radical welcome. May it be the coming together of the people and their experiences, of their fears, loves, and hopes, saying to anyone who hears it, welcome. Lay down your heartache, grab hold of some hope. And Ray Rowland is going to do the reading by Emily Dickinson.
Good morning. Hope. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard in this chilliest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremities it asks a crumb of me.
Ray is going to read in the blue, and I'm asking you to join me with the reading in the green.
To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic.
It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness.
You can cut all the flowers,
but you cannot keep spring from coming.
Remember, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things.
And no good thing ever dies.
Hope itself is like a star and to be seen in the sunshine of prosperity.
It is discovered in the night of adversity.
If you assume that there is no hope,
you guarantee that there will be no hope.
Hope has two beautiful daughters. Their names are anger and courage.
Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they do not remain as they are. Hope includes knowing that while I may not get what I want, I will always eventually get what I need, even if I didn't know that I needed whatever it is. High Hopes by Frank Sinatra.
So, hope. What in heaven's name is hope? In the Hunger Games movies and book, President Snow, played brilliantly by Donald Sutherland in the movies, had two passions. His first passion was anybody who disagreed with him in the Capitol was easily done away with by poisoning them. His second passion was having each district select two young people, a male and a female, to go and fight to the death in a TV show until there was one victor. President Snow is talking in the movie to the chief game maker. And he said, why do you think we have the Hunger Games? Why don't we just line up two people from each district and shoot them? He said, we have the Hunger Games so people don't give hope. And right now, Katniss Everdeen, the heroine, is giving people hope. Katniss Everdeen needs to die. Hope on a rope. That's what we're talking about today. Hope on a rope. Do any of you remember a number of years back when a very popular product, well, you probably could still get it on Amazon, was something called soap on a rope? And I remember the ads that were on TV. They would show someone in the shower and the person would be lathering up with a bar of soap. This was long before soap came in squeeze bottles or things like that. And you would lather up and all of a sudden the slippery soap would go out of your hand and you'd be down on the floor of the shower hunting for it. I got hope on a rope one time, soap on a rope, and I loved it because I could hang it around my neck or I could wrap it around my wrist and I could lather up and do all of that stuff and get everything done. And when I was done, just hang the soap on a rope up over the shower head and it would dry off. There was also, for a brief period of time, something called Pope on a rope. Now, you may be snickering or you may be doubting it, but it's absolutely true. One year when I was a student minister and somebody thought in my student church it'd be great to give a ministerial student a pope on a rope. And I got it, and it had this little pope figure with a high hat, and he's kneeling in prayer. And it was just a bar of soap that was molded to look like the pope. It didn't last very long. The Roman Catholic Church objected very seriously to portraying the Pope in that way. But soap on a rope to me represents something, because soap on a rope, when you had it, it was a great product. And you do it and you do it and you do it. But finally, that bar of soap would get thin enough that the soap would fall off and you had nothing. It is my belief that most of the major religions in the world, if you take away the dogma and you take away the rituals and you take away the paraments and the candles and everything else about those religions, at the very essence of almost every religion is one thing: it's hope. What are you hoping for when you look at things through the eyes of your faith? When I was an 11-year-old boy, I would get up every morning at 5 a.m. and I would eat breakfast. And after breakfast, my dad would take me to Sorby Farm Arabians, where I would put on coveralls and boots, and I would go in and I would clean stalls and feed the horses. Now, unless you think that's unusual for an 11-year-old, when you were born in Lexington, Kentucky, in the middle of the bluegrass country, there was nothing more natural to do at that time in the morning. And after I was done, I would wash up a little bit and I would go out and catch the bus and ride back into town to school. A lot of kids I went to school with thought I was a country kid. I actually lived on 10th Street, less than a quarter of a mile from where the school was. And when school was over, each and every day, I would hurry home, and there in front of my house would be a stack of the local newspapers. And I would deliver every day 83 newspapers in 2 bags on either side of myself. And it took a long time, and it was hard work when I was 11. And I used to think, man, if I had a bicycle, I could cut the delivery time in about half. In my family tradition at Christmas time, my brother and I expected just one gift. We could set our hopes on gifting one gift, and my parents would do their very best. We didn't do the Santa Claus elves in the North Pole making things kind of thing. And we knew that each and every Christmas, the thing we hoped for was going to be there. That particular Christmas, my hopes were extremely high. Because when I would walk downtown in my hometown, I would go past this bike shop, and there in the bike shop window was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen: a Schwinn Corvette bicycle with hand brakes and gears. And the body of that thing was British racing green, and the fenders were chrome, and there were lights on the front and the back. But on the side of the back wheels were 2 baskets. And I thought, my newspapers would fit in those baskets, and I could ride along and toss the newspapers on the porch right and left, and I'd get done with my newspaper route in no time. So I let my parents know what I wanted for that Christmas, what I hoped for, anything else. Close your eyes for a minute. Imagine you're 11 and you're lying in bed on Christmas Eve and you're trying to go to sleep, but you can hear your parents downstairs bringing in the gifts and setting up for Christmas morning, and you're just getting so excited, and your hopes are building and building and building and building. And Christmas morning finally comes, and I ran down the steps in record time and around the corner and into the living room, and there in front of the Christmas tree was an ugly brown bicycle. The ugliest bicycle I had ever seen. It was brown. And I turned and looked at my parents and didn't say a word. And my dad, being my dad, said, "How do you like your bike?" "It's fine." And after a while, my mother sensed my disappointment, and she said, "That's not the bike you wanted." And I said, "No." And I said, "Mom, do you think it would be all right if I took the money I got from cleaning stalls and feeding horses and delivering papers, and I took that bike back and got the one I wanted?" And she said, "Fine." So Monday morning, I walked that bike down to the bike shop, and I was praying that no other child got that bike that morning. I went into the owner of the bike shop and I said, "I want to bring this bike back and buy that Schwinn Corvette." And he said, "Well, that's a used bike." I said, "I didn't even ride it. I walked it down here." He said, "Well, I can't give you full price for it." And I bought that bike. And my hopes became real because of me. Hope. Hope. What questions do you have when you think of hope? What is in the way of your hope? What's the brown bicycle that's in front of you for something you hope more than anything else can happen? You know, when we hope, troubles come. You don't believe it? Turn on the television set. All the hopes and dreams and things that you have that you want or you want for others. What do you want? What do you hope for? A happy family life? Someone to love and that they loved you? Do you hope that people stop dying needlessly? Do you hope that a child can't buy a gun and kill people? Hope sometimes is like that slippery bar of soap, and it's so hard to hold on to because of all of the things around us. There are mountains in front of us of troubles and problems, and hope keeps slipping away. How do we hold on to hope and live and function? Hope comes in the strangest of ways sometimes. Sometimes hope comes to us like a green chrome fendered bicycle or like a thunderstorm with lightning, and hope is there. And we're saying, yes, yes, yes. And sometimes we hold on to hope with the slenderest of threads and not a rope. And hope comes to us like a whisper. Amen.
Donald? "2,000 years ago, a carpenter and his wife lived in a very, very poor village called Nazareth in the Galilee. They would go on to have several children, as it mentions in the Gospel of Mark, and the oldest was Yeshua or Yeshasha. We know him as Jesus. It is interesting, as he tried to bring hope to many, that when he gathered, he chose the most simple and plain of elements. Simple bread on a simple pottery, very, very simple pottery plate, offering simple bread to any and all. He was accused of dealing with publicans and sinners. I love that phrase. That's a fancy way of referring to you and me. And then he would take a very, very simple, it was just simple. These were poor people. Again, a clay bowl from which people would drink watered down wine, and he would share the simplest of elements to reaffirm our common humanity, our common wonderings of what it's all about, our common sharings of hope when sometimes hope seems elusive. So we offer this bread and this cup to affirm all, especially at a time like this when everybody is not affirmed. People are cast away, and gatherings in his name are often more repelling people than welcoming. In this congregation, the bread and the cup affirm and offer hope for one and all, always. We refer to the great theologian Winnie the Pooh with some words I ask you to read after me. Promise me you'll remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. God didn't promise days without pain, laughter without sorrows, and sun without rain. But the divine did promise strength for the day, comfort for the tears, and light for the way. And all I can say about Larry is I can't think of anybody who would put the Statler brothers together and then Miley Cyrus for music today. There's something wild. And so it is, Miley Cyrus.
There are always going to be the brown bicycles of disappointment, the rivers of problems that we have to swim out of, and the mountains we need to climb. Keep hope alive in all of us. Amen.
Amen. As always, thank you, Larry. Thank you for being with us. And thanks Cindy so much, who helps so much in the background. Big loves to Cindy as well. Good morning. I see you, Cindy. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
She hides.
Yeah, so's the other one. Where's the other hand here? Where's the other hand?
They're twins.
Yeah, the twins. Oh, God help us. Felix, good morning to you from North Miami. Digit, as you know, is from the metropolis of Oldsmar, 2 square miles. Gail and Tom are looking very young today, and I find that particularly annoying.
Well, they're not in Port Orange.
They're from Port Orange, yep. We got Ray Roller from Washington Heights, Pat Sullivan from, where did she just go? Ray, thank you for reading again this morning. Thank you, Ray. Bobby Vance is with us from Kissimmee, Nikki Lindquist from Cutler Bay, Pat Kincare from Miami, Barbara Young from Miami, Danny Sorkin from Forest Hills, Kay Schweitzer from Central Florida, Maureen Sullivan down near the farm country, Chris Lee in Taiwan. Chris Diaz joined us today as well in North Miami. Alan and Eddie are over in near Miami Shores, and Hal and Linda from Port Orange as well. Thank you all very, very much. In 2 weeks, we have Michelle with us. In the meantime, we'll be keeping in touch with all of you, one and all. Blessings, blessings, and peace be with you all. Bye-bye now, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye all.